Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Szatkowski. He's been an employee of that school for 22 years, but is now suspended from teaching. Some breaking news tonight. Governor Whitmer now extending our stay-at-home order once again. And Garcia's father also led investigators to a gun, later confirmed to be the one used in those two homicides. So you have to wear your mask, but don't worry, it's only until you get to your table. And you'll notice no matter where you go, a lot of places will have signs like this. And in case you're wondering, yes, Root is a professional backpacker. He was out $700 from work that he paid Darren for that never got done. That woman was kneeling right here, in fact, with that officer and with that deputy. Ow. Yeah. You all right? Yeah, you know, you're right. Your eyes definitely water. If you're not a cat person, this next story may just change your mind. Heading into Super Tuesday last week, it appeared that Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders had the momentum needed to gain that nomination. There were hundreds of people here a couple hours ago when all of this started at 2 o'clock. We have seen a few groups start to trickle back. A lot of people just driving by, honking horns. Obviously encouraging a peaceful protest earlier today, but saying that, you know, if you don't live in this community, please do not come here. It all started with a stabbing at a local store where that same man got into an argument over masks with another customer. There's debris everywhere. In fact, I am standing on the roof of an apartment complex. Guys, parents have been waiting for this for months now, and Governor Whitmer is also allowing people to travel between their homes in the state. So if you have a place up north, you're allowed to go there, because you know what? We need to take all we can get to bring a little bit of joy right now. Yeah. Who knew that you could dye your clothes with the pit of an avocado? Not only are they tasty and healthy, but they're environmentally conscious too.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Derek Francis.
And I'm Szatkowski. This is Fox 17 News at 5. First, a middle school teacher facing a judge today accused of sexually assaulting 2 students. We're hearing more tonight from neighbors about that homicide investigation in Lake Odessa yesterday. It happened on McAllister Street near Colfax Avenue, though originally police thought it was a car crash. But when officers arrived, they found 2 people with gunshot wounds. Those 2 were taken to the hospital. However, police later learned that a third person had been shot too. We're told all 3 were in the same car, and right now it looks like they were targeted by people in another vehicle. Yeah, certainly a good reminder to stay out of the water. Maybe just dip your toes in for a little bit, then you can go warm up on the sand. Juan Garcia has been charged with open murder in the deaths of 20-year-old Jayana Braden and 23-year-old Quavon Lee. Police say the 2 were shot and killed while sitting in a car on the city's southeast side back on June 7th. No word tonight on Garcia's next court date. And the westbound lanes of I-96 in Ottawa County are now back open after a crash there. It happened around 3:30 near 16th Avenue in Wright Township, and the highway, we're told, just reopened about an hour ago. And they're also announcing 2 deaths. If we include probable cases, nearly 6,500 people have died. That's a fatality rate of 7.3%. It's a number, though, which is continuing to drop. Over the last couple of weeks, the fatality rate has fallen by more than 1%. As of Friday, a little more than 60,000 people had recovered, and more than 150 prisoners at the Muskegon Correctional Facility have tested positive for COVID-19. According to the MDOC, those who have the virus have been moved out of the facility. We're told they've now tested every inmate, that's nearly 800 of them, and they're expecting results by the end of the week. 3 suspects accused in the riots in downtown Grand Rapids appearing in court today. And Ottawa County investigators reviewing surveillance footage after a jewelry store break-in early this morning in Hudsonville. Deputies got to the scene at Jensen Jewelers within minutes of that store alarm going off. They used canines to track that suspect, but they didn't find anyone. Still ahead here at 5, rescue crews searching for survivors after a massive explosion in Lebanon's capital. First here at 6, murder charges have been filed in the death of a 2-year-old boy nearly 3 months after he died. At least 2 people drowned in Lake Michigan in Berrien County yesterday, and they have saved lives before. And they do say that the flag system isn't effective because it's simply not universal across the state. And a beautiful Friday night, too. Meteorologist Ty Shesky's in our weather center for the first check of our forecast, which does include the chance for rain. Ty. That party was hosted at Watermark Country Club on July 19th. Paperwork given to Fox 17 by an anonymous employee shows it was held primarily indoors and slated for about 200 guests. Paperwork for another party hosted on July 12th shows 300 expected guests. The health department, meantime, says they are still investigating that event held on July 19th. And we have, again, reached out to Watermark several times for comment and have still not heard back. And they say they have yet to make an arrest in any of those cases. That first incident happened last night near Wealthy and Hollister Avenue. Police say the victim was walking on Wealthy when a car drove by and just started shooting. That man was hit once in the torso. We're told he is in critical condition but stable. But he says that number could be even higher, highlighting 5 recent gun-related arrests where officers stopped potential crimes from happening. It happened around 8 p.m. in Jocelyn Circle off of 192nd Avenue in Mecosta Township. Deputies say the 12-year-old driver crashed and flipped the ATV while trying to make a turn. We're told she may have been driving too fast. The 3 kids were thrown from that vehicle. Thankfully, though, they were all wearing helmets. And a family's dog reportedly stolen right from their yard for not once, but the second time this year. They are really a part of your family.
Yeah.
So if you know where he is or you have him, just drop him off.
Yeah, for that family. Well, health officials are optimistic with the possible coronavirus vaccine now on the horizon.
Yeah, still ahead tonight, Dr. Fauci's testimony before Congress on his honest opinion about the current state of the nation.
Move that knee! Move that knee! 'Cause I can't breathe! 'Cause I can't breathe!
Hundreds of protesters converging on the Muskegon County Courthouse Sunday.
This is beautiful.
Taking to the street.
Justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
This is nothing recent. This is nothing new. And people are finally getting fed up with it.
Fed up with police brutality and outraged over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis this week.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
There's too many people that have not been spoken for, and we have to speak for them.
This demonstration remaining peaceful.
People were hugging and just embracing each other. I'm glad to see that there are other races out here.
Protesters saying they were glad to see their local law enforcement out supporting them.
I think they're amazing. I think they're supportive, and they have been nothing but wonderful since we've gotten here.
And that's exactly what Muskegon County Sheriff Michael Pullen says they're there to do.
The things that people are standing up, that they're here today, you know, for what happened in Minnesota, I mean, they're spot on, okay? Because we need to support that. We understand that that was bad. We understand that that's not right, and that we're not going to stand for it either.
Sheriff Pullen says he expects things to remain peaceful into the night.
We need a positive message, right, to get across. And any additional violence and malicious destruction of property, that doesn't help anybody. It's not going to help our community.
And so do these protesters after demonstrations in Grand Rapids erupted into hours of violence Saturday into Sunday.
I hate that it happened. I really do. Because what did that solve other than people are having to rebuild their homes, their businesses?
They say that will only take away from their message.
We've been having these conversations for too long, and it's really time for some proper change.
Black lives matter, but all lives matter.
Klages served as MSU's head gymnastics coach for 27 years and then retired in 2017 after being accused of covering up allegations involving former sports doctor Larry Nassar. And now she will officially be serving jail time, something survivors have been waiting years to hear.
Ms. Klages will be placed on probation for a period of 18 months. 90 days in the Ingham County Jail with credit for 1 day served.
The official ruling for Kathy Klages, once esteemed gymnastics coach for Michigan State University, now heading for a jail cell.
I am happy with the results, as hard as it is.
Larissa Boyce, one of 2 women giving victim impact statements Tuesday.
I'm standing here representing my 16-year-old self, who was silenced and humiliated 23 years ago.
Boyce says she told Klages about Nassar's abusive treatments in 1997, leading a jury to find her guilty of lying to police during a 2018 interview about what she knew and when.
I truly had prayed and hoped that Kathy would own up to and admit her mistake of believing a pedophile instead of 2 children 23 years ago. But that did not happen.
Even though Klages could have spent up to 17 months behind bars, Boyce says she's at peace with the ruling.
Honestly, I wasn't trying to expect anything. I was going into it thinking and preparing myself for whatever happened, knowing that I did what I was supposed to do by testifying and telling the truth of what happened.
Klages giving a tearful statement of her own.
If it did occur, and I responded the way they said I did, I'm truly horrified, and I'm so sorry.
something Boyce says was painful to see.
That was difficult. It was hard to see her crying, and I hope that she was truly sincere about what she was saying. I can't judge that, but I truly hope that she was sincere about what she was saying.
She says both Nassar and Klages are part of a much bigger problem. Institutions like USA Gymnastics and MSU ignoring sexual assault.
When people own up to it, face it head on, acknowledge it, then they can be a bigger difference in the world, rather than trying to cover up.
For her, this is the final step in putting the years-long cycle of trials, meetings, and courtrooms in the rearview mirror.
Focus on each other, focus on our family, focus on healing and moving forward.
And Klages' attorneys going to great lengths today to keep her out of jail, very concerned about COVID-19. However, the judge said that she was satisfied with the conditions and the cleaning procedures at the Ingham County Jail. Klages is one of 3 MSU employees other than Nassar to be charged in connection to him, and the second to be convicted. As for Nassar himself, he is spending the rest of his life behind bars after being linked to hundreds of sexual assaults. Yeah, guys, we brought you that story earlier this week after the Kent County Health Department said that they were first looking into cases possibly linked to that party. After our story, though, we got even more messages about that event, including one from an employee who does wish to remain anonymous. They are calling things at Watermark irresponsible to the point of negligence.
Basically, we're making the choice of money over safety.
That's the feeling around Watermark Country Club, according to an employee who spoke to Fox 17 Thursday. That worker asked for their face and voice to be disguised for fear of losing their job.
It feels unsafe.
The Kent County Health Department has confirmed 21 positive cases of COVID-19, mostly teenagers, some adults, associated with a cluster linked to a graduation party held at Watermark on July 19th.
The party was very large, that it was primarily indoors. There were some traffic in and outdoors, but mask wearing, social distancing, those rules were not being followed.
According to banquet paperwork provided by that employee, that grad party was expecting a head count of 200 guests in the shore room. That number well above Governor Whitmer's restrictions, which at the time limited indoor gatherings to just 50 people.
It feels to me like we were putting people at risk.
Even more concerning, this employee says just 1 week prior, on July 12th, another grad party at Watermark was slotted for 300 guests.
Frankly, it's unsafe, and I don't know any way that you could walk that back and make it seem safe in today's climate, with the executive orders being what they are. That's a lot of people.
Post-event staff notes from the July 12th party showed they didn't get a final head count, but, quote, "We went through all 300 polished plates, and the place was packed." The notes go on to say that guests were not compliant with face masks.
Social distancing with 300 people is not a possibility in my eyes. Yet we allowed this to take place.
The employee also tells us deep cleaning and sanitizing was not routine after these large events.
The cleaning procedures, in regards to the bank facilities have not been done. And a week later, they finally cleaned the pool area due to the positive tests that came out of that area.
Watermark previously told us that while they have had 4 employees test positive, none worked at the graduation event on July 19th. They also told us that the event was held largely outdoors with masks and social distancing in place. But the employee we talked to says multiple staff members have already quit over these safety concerns, and they just want management held accountable.
We need to get through this together by having these events, by the management putting our lives, our health at risk, or others, our families' lives at risk. That's not getting through this together, and it's not helping. And we need to get through this the right way.
Now, the last time I spoke with anyone from Watermark was Tuesday of this week. I did make several attempts both last night and today to reach out to them for a comment on this particular story. They have yet to respond.